Ok, clase, por este video vamos a hablar sobre los direct object pronouns, capítulo 8. Okay, so first, before we even get into direct object pronouns, let's have a quick repaso of indirect object pronouns, which we have done. Again, this was something that is a little bit difficult at first, but again, a lot of y'all got used to the indirect object pronouns and did awesome. So same thing with the direct object. But again, let's just review what an indirect object pronoun is. So remember, they are nouns or pronouns that are affected by the action of the verb in the sentence. So they answer the question to whom or for whom. So just always remember that when you're reading a sentence. To whom or for whom. And that's referring to the IOP, or the indirect object pronoun. For example, I gave the book to Zariel. So Zariel is the indirect object pronoun because he answers the question to whom or for whom. I gave the book to who? To Zariel. So again, it answers the question to whom or to who. I gave the book to who? To Zariel. Okay? So the IOP replaces names and a bunch of other stuff, etc., so that you don't have to keep repeating the same name or amongst other things over and over again. We do this all the time in English, just like I've mentioned before. An example is below. So I gave the book to Zariel changes to I gave the book to him. So instead of saying Zariel over and over again, we would just replace his name with the the indirect object pronoun, which would be him. In Espanol, the same sentence above, I gave the book to Zariel. Yo di el libro a Zariel changes to yo le di el libro. To him, I gave the book. So we had practiced with this. And the placement of it, remember, it goes before the conjugated verb. So, again, just a quick repaso. Here are your indirect object pronouns. You already know these, and if you didn't ever copy these down or were a little confused by them, make sure you copy them down this go around. But your indirect object pronouns in Espanol would be me, to me, te, to you, le, to him or her, nos, to us, and les, to them. Okay, so that was just a brief and quick repaso of the indirect object pronouns. So let's get into what direct object pronouns are. Okay, so direct object pronouns are nouns or pronouns that receive the action of the verb. And the question that direct object pronouns answers is what or who. So at the bottom right here, I put this right here so that you don't get confused. The IOP, indirect object pronoun, answers to who or for who. The direct object pronoun just answers who or what. Very, very important. Don't get these two confused. Okay, and I'll show you some examples in a moment. But just like IOPs, to avoid repeating a direct object over and over again, we often replace it with an it. So for example, do you understand the question? Yes, I understand it. So Spanish works the same way. Just like in English, we replace the direct and indirect object pronouns with something else. In Spanish, here are your direct object pronouns. You have lo, which means him or it. That is the masculine singular. The masculine plural of that would be los, which means them. La, her or it, which is the feminine singular. And las would mean them, which is the feminine plural. Okay? So, direct object pronouns can refer to people or things, and they agree in gender and number with the nouns they replace. Gender and number. So if the noun is masculine, the pronoun has to be masculine, just like we worked with adjectives and nouns, right? Some examples of that are as follows. So, for example, the word shoes is a masculine plural in Spanish. So we would choose los to express them instead of shoes. Let's look at that in a sentence in a second. Zapatos, again, masculine plural. And los is a masculine plural pronoun. So, see how zapatos, again, it's not singular, it's plural. So we have to pick a plural direct object pronoun. And see, this isn't zapatas, it's zapatos, so we need to pick los. So in a sentence, I buy shoes for her. So instead of saying I buy shoes, we could say I buy them for her, right? Because this is the direct object pronoun because it answers the question what or who. I buy what for her? I buy shoes for her. So we replace that with them. I buy them for her. En español, yo compro zapatos para ella. Yo los compro para ella. Zapatos, los. All right. So where do we place the direct object pronouns? Because for the indirect, remember, we had to place them directly before a conjugated verb. Where do we put direct object pronouns? Guess what? Just like the IOPs, the direct object pronoun is placed just before the conjugated verb, just like an indirect object pronoun. For example, ¿lees el periódico? You read the paper? Sí, lo leo. Yes, I read it. See, the direct object pronoun is placed right before the conjugated verb. Would you agree that this is the verb? You read el periódico, lees el periódico, you read the paper. Here's the verb. Here is your direct object pronoun. Why is this the direct object pronoun? Well, again, it answers the question, who or what, right? It is also a masculine singular noun, so the DOP, or the direct object pronoun, lo, has to match it. You read what? You read the paper. Instead of saying the paper, we can replace it with it. Yes, I read it. Periódico, lo. Now, there is a second placement for the direct object pronoun. If there is an infinitive verb, the pronoun is attached to the infinitive ending. This sounds very similar as well. Here's an example. ¿Puedes lavar los platos? Are you able to wash the plates? Here, see this verb right here? It has not been conjugated. It is in the infinitive form. Correct? It ends in AR. It has not been conjugated. So we can attach whatever we're going to replace los platos with to the end of this verb. Are you able to wash the plates? Sí, puedo lavarlos. Yes, I am able to wash them. Again, the plates, side note, or los platos in español, is the DOP, the direct object pronoun, because it answers the question who or what. It is also a masculine plural noun, so the direct object pronoun has to match it. So that's why we chose los. So we replace los platos with los. Okay? Now, note to self. If there's ever a sentence with a masculine and a feminine direct object pronoun, the direct object pronoun los is used. For example, ¿compras el vestido y las faldas? You buy the dress and the skirts. So here you go. Here is a masculine noun. Here is a feminine noun. So we have masculine and feminine in this sentence. Both of these are pronouns, right? Or you could replace it with a direct object pronoun, correct? You buy what? You buy the dress and the skirts. This is how we would replace it. Sí, los compro. Yes, I buy them. Notice how we picked a masculine for them instead of a feminine? But look, in this sentence, there's masculine and feminine, so why just choose masculine? Well, remember back to the beginning of the school year how I told y'all, for example, if I wanted to say my friends, and I have 20 friends that are girls and just one that's a guy, I still have to say amigos instead of amigas. I still have to use the masculine form. Why? Well, masculine triumphs. So, pretty interesting, isn't it? Same thing applies here. If you ever use a sentence referring to something masculine and feminine, you have to use the masculine plural. Here's some práctica. Translate both sentences into Spanish. Do you want my food? Yes, I want it. Thank you. And you can pause it for some práctica, but here are the respuestas. ¿Quieres mi comida? Sí, la quiero. See, mi comida is feminine. We have to replace it with a feminine direct object pronoun. Here's some more práctica. I have to eat apples. I have to eat them. Here's the answer. Tengo que comer manzanas. Tengo que comerlas. Again, this was an example with attaching it to the infinitive form of the verb. Translate these into English. Escribo la tarea. Yo la escribo. I write the homework. I write it. Okay, that is it for this portion of the video. I now have a song for you all that I'm also going to share in class later to hopefully get you to see this a little bit more.
En la clase de español necesito mi diccionario, pero no lo tengo. En la clase de matemáticas necesito mi calculadora, pero no la tengo. Ahora tengo 20 minutos de detención. En la clase de literatura necesito mis novelas, pero no las tengo. En la clase de arte necesito mis marcadores, pero no los tengo. Ahora tengo 40 minutos de detención. En la clase de gimnasia necesito mi uniforme, pero no lo tengo. En la clase de música necesito mi instrumento, pero no lo tengo. Ahora tengo una vida de detención.
And that is all. Adios.